for team number 6 on biology class. My name is David.
My name is Hugo.
My name is Cesar. My name is Jair.
And we're going to talk about invasive species. Hugo, what is an invasive species?
Well, an invasive species it can be a fungus, a bacteria, or something that affect the food chain or ecosystem. Once invasive species become established and spread, it can be extraordinarily difficult and cost to control or eradicate them.
Yes, because you got a bacteria that infects ecosystem. Say it like a sea ecosystem. It affects the primary producers, and then the primary consumers won't have food to eat, and secondary consumers will die, and so on.
And all the chain is going to be affected.
And
Yeah.
also the bacteria have their reproduction, so it's very costly and difficult to eradicate, as Hugo said. It's because the bacteria multiply to a lot of bacteria and kill all the cactus, as an example, and affect all the ecosystem, the food web, and the food chain.
Yeah, and it is difficult to eradicate them because, like Jair said, it multiplies, and it first starts with some producer, and then the other producer will affect, and we need to destroy all the bacteria. Yeah, and it is difficult because a lot of organisms have that bacteria, so it will affect.
Well,
The
for
best,
example,
the best approach for dealing with an invasive species is to create effective mechanisms to prevent their introduction in the first place, create monitoring systems for detecting infestation, and more probably to eradicate newly detected methods. Like if you have a plant and one bacteria affects that plant, you will notice it. You will see the plant like the same. If the plant is like stand up every day, like green, you will see it like down,
and
yellow,
like
things like that.
the color black and it's going to
Yeah.
die. And if this plant die, it's going to affect the food chain. For example, if it's a insect eat of that plant, the insect is gonna die, and then affect
This
all,
is the reason,
all the complete
because the fertilizers can help us, but at the same time
Can affect.
affect us because destroy our plants and also the bacteria, but destroy our plants, and most of the cases the bacteria don't die.
Well,
so
it doesn't destroy the plant. It affects the plant. Like the fertilizer makes the plant be.
the sick, but
Yeah.
can die.
Yeah,
Can
yeah,
be
yeah. It
dangerous.
gives us like if you put a fertilizer on a plant of tomatoes, the tomatoes could be bad and things like that. But it doesn't.
Can be poison.
Yeah,
Yes, maybe
yeah.
that maybe affect all
Yeah,
the
well, that's an invasive species, and that's the difficult to eradicate them. Thank you. I'm gonna talk about invasive species. An invasive species is defined as an organism, plant, animal, fungus, or bacterium that is not native and has negative effects on our economy, our environment, or our health. Not all introduced species are invasive. Invasive species can change the food web in an ecosystem by destroying or replacing native food source. The invasive species may provide little to no food value for wildlife. Imagine you have an ecosystem of water, a sea ecosystem. Okay, you introduce a bacterium that kills the primary producers. What you have, the the ecosystem will be destroyed. The food web will be destroyed because that producer won't produce food, and the other consumers wouldn't eat the food, and they will die. The primary consumers, the secondary consumers, and so on. So that's an invasive species.
Hello, I'm going to tell you something about an invasive species that is the Nile perch. It is native to a number of freshwater African lake and river systems. When it was introduced to Lake Victoria in the 1950s, however, the lake ecosystem was not prepared for it. While the population of fish were kept in check through commercial fishing for several decades, the population exploded in the late of 1980s, uh, leading to the extinction or near extinction of several hundred native species. The devastating impact of the gigantic fish, which can grow up to 2 meters in length, weigh in the at over 200 of kilograms. It's believed to be the result of its voracious appetite uh, for key ecosystems supporting members like fish, crustaceans, insects, and zooplankton.